I feel like they are not as no, I shouldn't say that.
Hi guys! Welcome back to the video. Okay, so today in this video we'll be answering a few questions about our level 1 and 2 certification experience. I think we'll just answer a few questions that's commonly asked by beginner climbers, beginner to early intermediate climbers like us. So the first question, introduce what is level 1 and 2 climbing. Okay, so for level 1 climbing, you actually need a certification in order to belay your climber for top rope. So during the course, there are 5 main things that you actually learn. So these 5 things are actually learning how to use the harness correctly and tying the figure 8 knot, and also the correct belaying technique. So actually there's a 5-step belay technique to this. And also you'll learn all your climbing calls like climb on, how you can communicate between the climber and the belayer. And also lastly, how you can actually perform these safety checks before you climb. But for level 2, you need a certification to do lead climbing. And also within the course, you get to learn a lot more new stuff. So for level 2, you need to learn how to clip on correctly to avoid things like back clips and Z clips. You need to learn how to lead climb, which also includes taking lead falls. And also you need to learn how to use ABD or ATC. So this is actually the belaying device that they provide to you. So some of the ABDs would be a Grigri or Grigri Plus. You also get to learn how to use all that. So there's also another certification called the level 3 certification, but we haven't done that yet. I think that is for multi-pitch climbing. If we ever do get to do that, then we'll share with you guys in another video. Yeah, so then we'll take on the second question. What is the difference between top rope, lead climbing, and auto belays?
Okay, so for top rope, your climbs are protected by a rope that's anchored at the top of the wall. You don't usually take large falls compared to lead climbing. So when you're doing lead climbing instead, the climber ascends the route, and while you're ascending, you will clip on to the various quick draws along the wall. So as you fall, if you fall above a quick draw, of course you will fall further than on a top rope where the rope just tightens and you just hang there. A lead fall, you can actually take greater falls, 3 to 6 meter falls actually, yeah, which can be actually quite scary. You can cut to a video of that now.
So I think top rope and auto belay are more commonly seen in the gyms in Singapore. So the auto belay is the one where they have this triangle things that ask you to clip on before you climb. So that's the auto belay. But I think there's a lot more to lead climbing because like what Dan mentioned, you really take a lot, like a greater fall. And yeah, like also what you've seen is actually a lot scarier, I think for me at least. And moving on to the third question, where did we get our certifications? And how was our personal experience? So for me, I actually got my level 1 certification at T Hall on 19 December 2020. So it was I think 3 to 7 p.m. course, a 4 hours course. And I think I paid $75 for the level 1 course. I think for me, I learned quite a bit because I was never one to be good with like knots and all that, but after the session I really, I guess, achieved all the outcomes that they set out. And I think then, when do you do your level 1?
I did my level 1 in 2008. Back when I was in secondary school, they had like some extra programs you could sign up for, and I thought rock climbing was something interesting that has always interested me, I guess. As a scout in primary school, like once in a while we'll do outdoorsy stuff. Yeah, I did it at Safra Jurong, like I said earlier. I'm not sure whether they still conduct classes because that was like 13 years ago and I was young, but at the same time, like it's very easy course. So if you want to take rock climbing more seriously, go ahead and go for the level 1. I highly recommend it. It's almost impossible to fail, I think. I've never heard of anyone who failed. My partner in secondary school made like big mistakes and he still managed to pass. If it's a sport where you think you might be interested in, then for sure go and take the level 1 course. It's only like $75.
And also moving on to level...
I want to add in like Climb Central. I don't think you need level 1 to climb there and belay there. So if like you are not really sure if you want to rock climb or something, you can always head down to Climb Central and try out the top rope there, because if I'm not wrong, the belay devices are like anchored to the floor. It's a bit safer. So they don't require you to like have a level 1. If you want to use your own belay device or you want to do lead climbing, you definitely need a verification over there.
Okay, then we're gonna move on to our level 2 certification. So for level 2, we did it together with Dashes on 16 and 17 January. For our level 2 certification, I think we paid $160 for each person.
Yeah.
We did it at T Hall. No, we did it at
GroundUp.
No, we did it at GroundUp. Sorry, GroundUp. It was over the weekend. On the brochure pamphlet, I stated 1 to 7 p.m. But we ended at around 5:36 on both days. For someone who's not a very strong climber, I believe in my previous video, right, you all have seen that I was doing like proper top roping for the first time. Then 3 days later, I had to go for this level 2 course. So on the first day of the level 2 course, we had to do things like back clips, Z clips, recognize the different clips. So for myself, I found myself very, very stressed. And I think my instructor was actually a little bit worried that I wouldn't be able to pass, because we also had to take lead falls, because one of the course prerequisites, like in order to pass, right, is you need to lead climb properly. And in order to lead climb, you need to take falls. So yeah, the course for me was, I think, a very memorable one because it really pushed me out of my comfort zone. I also learned a lot, especially using the gui and also, belaying and learning how to give slack when your climbers is about to clip on. And I think that takes so much practice, and it really is so much more enriching and fulfilling, I think, as compared to the level 1 one. Honestly, I feel like GroundUp did a really, really good job, especially our instructor.
KC.
Yeah, KC. We had a lot of fun with him. He was very, very nice.
He wasn't very nice.
He was nice in his own way, but he taught us all that we really had to know, and he made sure that we really did everything like safely. So that was really, really awesome for me.
For level 2, I searched around a few places like where we should go, and I got a recommendation to go to GroundUp because I heard that they were relatively professional through the course, and secondly also that ABD verification is included in the course price, which we'll go into later, I guess. In terms of the course itself, I think it was conducted very professionally. KC was, I never felt unsafe. He went through everything step by step. I had a bit of experience. I watched a lot of climbing videos online, a lot of competition. So a lot of the clipping and everything I was quite comfortable with it, and I'm quite comfortable with using rope as well because I used to sail, I used to be a scout. So none of those were really a problem for me. Before that, like when we're top roping, sometimes like even lowering like dashes, which is he's about 15 kg heavier than me. Sometimes I feel a little bit tense when I'm like lowering dashes.
Saying dashes
But during the course, we had a bit of extra time, so KC kind of encouraged us to take lead falls with other partners. So I took a lead fall with Dashes belaying, Dashes took a lead fall with me belaying, and it definitely built a lot of confidence if I want to go climbing with Dashes in the future, as we usually do. I think that was a nice touch as well, that like there were another pair, a couple, a girl and the guy is obviously way heavier than the girl. And KC also encouraged them really to take lead falls together so that they have a feel of what it's like to belay someone significantly heavier than yourself. Throughout the whole thing, it was really very safe. Nobody got injured. I never felt like I was like hanging on for my life. Every time I did something, I always kind of knew the equipment, the coach, the instructor, the belayer, I could trust all of it.
In our next video, we'll be showing parts of our level 2 certification and our experience at GroundUp. So do keep an eye out for that. So that's that for level 1 and 2 certification. And on to the next question. What is the ABD verification?
The ABD verification is a certification that is used by 3 gyms mainly, all under Climb Asia if I'm not wrong. So it's Climb Central, GroundUp, as well as On-Site Gym. However, On-Site has
closed down I think.
If you want to do lead climbing at any of these, the remaining 2 gyms, you would have to have your ABD verification whether or not you are climbing or belaying.
So how it works for this verification is that after our 2-day course, right? This verification...
You have to book a separate slot.
Yeah, we had to go back, I think 2 weeks after, on a Wednesday evening. The verification took us around 20 to 30 minutes.
Per pair.
Yeah, per pair. So our instructor just tested us on all the theories, and then we had to do a lead climb, take a fall for him to see. And yeah, he just assessed us in terms of the clipping, in terms of our rope tying, our pre-climb checks, our communication, and things like that. I heard from him that the passing rate is actually
50%.
I think it sounds a little bit bleak, but I don't think it's that bad because all 3 of us passed, and even for me, someone who was really, really so anxious on the first day of the course, right? I managed to pass in the end also. But also, if you are taking the verification, you can't just go in, forgetting everything that you've learned. Because before I went, right, I had to practice with shoelaces with Dan. And I think for Dan, he has been watching videos a lot. So he knows this theory like the back of his hand lah. For me, I think we were just setting up like carabinas, like trying to clip with shoelaces and things like that.
I think the ABD verification, in my opinion, is slightly stricter than the level 2 to pass level 2, the level 2 requirements. It might just be like our own experience, but from what I understand from anecdotes from my friends as well, I think the ABD verification, they are a little bit stricter. If you fail any of the components, they can fail you. So it depends on the how serious the thing is, the mistake that you made. But they have the ability to fail you straight away if you make any mistake. And also, if you want to do your ABD verification and you don't take your level 2, as in if it's not included, if you want to take it separately, believe it's an additional $10. You have to factor that in. Say like if you take your level 2 at T Hall, it might be slightly cheaper, but if you want to climb at Climb Central or GroundUp, you have to take your ABD verification, which will cost another $10. So it might even out, I'm not sure, but yeah, it's just something to take note of.
So actually that's about the end of all the questions that we prepared, but I think we'll dive a little bit into what Dan mentioned just now, like doing level 2 at T Hall and why we chose GroundUp climbing for our level 2 certification. I think Dan would be better to take this question.
So initially we wanted to take our level 2 at T Hall. It was the cheapest in Singapore, I believe, out of my research. It was a one-day course as well, so it meant that we can take it on a Saturday and go back to Bodo on a Sunday. So I spoke to a couple of friends. I have a cousin-in-law who did his level 2 at T Hall. I have another friend who also did her level 2 at T Hall. The reviews I got were not that great. The common issue was that since it's a one-day course, they kind of rush through a little bit. Certain things they don't get enough experience of. For our lead falls, we spent maybe 3 to 4 hours at GroundUp just taking lead falls, just climbing for fun and falling. Whereas at T Hall, I heard they make you take one lead fall and okay, you got it.
Bye.
That was one of the reasons why we didn't do it at T Hall. And the same friend, she recommended me to go GroundUp because apparently she had friends who did it at GroundUp and they had good feedback and good experiences there. And secondly, it's also because of the ABD verification included in the cost of the course. It would mean that if you want to climb at Climb Central after that, or go back to GroundUp and climb lead climbing, we do not have to wait around for the verification. We don't have to pay for the verification. We can just go there, clip on, and just go for the climb. So that was the reason we did it at GroundUp instead of T Hall.
And I think we are very, very pleased with our choice. But also I have to say, right, according to my latest research, I think T Hall has extended their course to a 2-day course. So I'm not sure what's the situation there right now. I'll recommend that you guys call in to check before deciding on T Hall. And I think also GroundUp in itself is, to me, quite an awesome gym lah.
Yeah. Enjoy ourselves there.
Yeah, we really did. So maybe if you're not planning to do your level 2 so soon, right? The last time we saw, they were actually building an outdoor wall. Yeah.
About 20 meters, I think.
When do you think it will be done?
I have no idea. Maybe 3 to 6 months time.
Yeah, so maybe if you're planning to do maybe after 6 months.
Yeah, mid 2021.
You might get to do a leap fall there, and I think it's
so cool.
It was so cool, and it'll be a lot more realistic. Even though I think it can be a bit scary, but it'll be so much more realistic for whatever climbing you want to do in future. So yeah, we'll definitely recommend GroundUp. And yeah, do you have anything else you want to add?
Yeah, as in why we did our level 2 also. I think a large part of it is really that I set this goal that I want to climb overseas this year. And when you climb overseas outdoors, there's pretty much only 2 options. It's either bouldering or lead climbing. And bouldering, in terms of the equipment needed, is both are equipment heavy. Bouldering, you need your crash pads, whereas for lead climbing, you need rope, you need quick draws, you need harness. So either way, it's you really do need a lot of things, but I think lead climbing is a little more accessible for overseas climbing. And yeah, so that's one of the reasons. And secondly is what I mentioned in the T Hall video, is I really want to get better at route climbing as well, be it top rope or lead climbing. If you can do a lead wall, if you can do a lead route, that will also make you stronger, as lead routes are generally slightly more advanced, slightly tougher. So that will definitely build your strength and your technique. And it looks cool, all the pros lead climb. You don't see pros climbing top rope. So if you want to be a pro, you gotta lead climb.
Don't listen to But yeah, I think that's about it for why we took our level 2 climbing and just our level 1 and 2 experience. And I think if you have any more questions, just feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below and we'll be more than happy to answer any of your questions. So I think that brings us to the end of this video. Alright?
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe.
Like, share.
Share.
1, 2, 3.
Like, share,
subscribe.
and subscribe.
That's right. Bye bye.